Hi, welcome to TapRooT TV. I'm Michelle Wishoun. I'm here with Janney today, and we're so excited for all of you who are able to join us. Dave is going to talk to us today about implementation.
Hi everybody, welcome to TapRooT TV. We appreciate you joining us today, and as Michelle said, we'd like to talk about implementing TapRooT today.
Yes.
Not only with TapRooT, but really anything you implement, you have to make sure you have a good plan first. A lot of times we get excited about new programs and new things we're doing, and we have a tendency to rush things out there before they're really ready. So it's really important to have a great plan in place before you launch anything. And the same is true with your TapRooT implementation. So just a couple high-level tips for you, and then I'll share some more resources with you at the end. But the first thing is, when you go to implement TapRooT, you want to have a clear vision of where you want to be when you're finished. Okay? What results are you seeking? Are you trying to reduce injuries? Are you trying to improve your reliability for equipment? You want to have some metrics around that. You also have to have a clear vision on why you want to improve. If you're already perfect, then maybe you don't have that that drive to do it. So you want to have a very clear vision across the organization, exactly what your reason is for improvement, and what does improvement look like? Because it's easy to throw a word out there, but we want to know what it needs to look like at the end. Okay? So once you have that, the next thing is to have a really good high-level sponsor. People have a tendency to do what their leaders want them to do. They get real interested in what leadership's interested in. And so having a high-level sponsor is going to be very, very important to you to help guide you through the process, support you through the process. One of the most important things, though, is going to be to have somebody very strong driving your program. Now, I would call this person the driver, but you could call them the program manager, the project manager, but it's somebody who's really driving your implementation. And it's not just implementation, it's once your program is up and running, that person needs to keep it going. And so you need a very, very strong driver for your program. You also need other people to support that person, and we'll call those subject matter experts. You can call them anything you want, but those are the people who are resources for the TapRooT users within the company to help them when they have problems, make sure that they have support, make sure they have the resources they need. Now, one of the things that's really important is, to keep your program going, one of the things that happens with your driver a lot of times is they do such a great job and they get a lot of recognition, and then they get promoted and they leave. So you have to have a succession plan so when that person does get promoted, that somebody is ready to take their place. And some of those subject matter experts are perfect people to really step in because they're already involved in the program. And so you want to really have all those foundations in place before you start developing your program.
Yes, that's very good information. And as Dave said, planning is a priority for any implementation if you want to succeed and do a good job, whether it's implementing TapRooT or doing anything in your life that's new. So that's very good information.
Yeah. So now we have a plan in place. Well, what do we do next? Well, you have to have a good training plan in place. Who needs to be trained? Which courses do they need? What is your target for when they need to be trained and things like that? So you have a lot of different options for you. Your drivers, your program managers can set up on-site courses for your people at your different sites throughout the company, and that's great. But also, if you decide that it's better to send people to our scheduled public courses, you want to make sure that you have good policies in place. I really do urge you to put it in your policy. This position needs a 2-day course, this position needs a 5-day course, and you want to make sure it's very clear in your policy. And that way people know when they have to get it done by, they know which training course they need, and it's very clear to everybody, so there's no confusion. So it's really important to have a good written training plan with deadlines and targets and things like that. The other thing is to make sure you have a good investigation program. How many investigations do you plan on doing? At what level of incident do you do your investigations? And you want to make sure you have the resources in place to do that. If you do 1,000 investigations in a year, you can't do that with 3 people. So you want to make sure you have the right resources in place. And so every company is going to be a little bit different. Your numbers will dictate how you go about doing that. But the key is to really have a good plan. So a good plan for your investigations and a good plan for your training program.
Absolutely. And a lot of you know, we offer on-site and public training. So just contact us through our website at www.taproot.com. Click on courses, and it's really easy to get those set up and get them in your system.
Yep. Okay, so now you have a really good program in place. You're getting your people trained. Another major consideration is software. Okay, so of course you can do TapRooT with or without software, but I find that I can do things much faster and in a much more productive manner by using the TapRooT software, and our clients tell us that. So just like your training plan, you've got to have a good implementation plan for your software. A lot of times, again, we really are, we want to get things out there, but it's really important to kind of pump the brakes and make sure you have a good plan. Make sure you have your software configured the way you want it. Make sure that you've done your testing and things like that. So, it doesn't hurt to wait an extra couple weeks to make sure things run smoothly once you launch them. So, you want to have a good plan for your software, get it configured the way you want it. That way you can track and trend the things that you're doing, and it's just going to be a lot smoother. The last thing you want to do is throw something out there before it's ready, and then people start to get, a negative opinion. I find that sometimes when I've heard people criticize different programs, when I really start to talk to them, I find out it wasn't implemented properly. It has nothing to do with the program. So, TapRoot's no different than any other program. You got to have a good implementation plan. Otherwise, things can be problematic. So
really fast.
Planning is really important. Now, the other thing is, once you do have things implemented, how do you monitor the quality? How do you monitor the quality of your investigations? And even if your investigations are really good, how do you improve upon them? Because improvement is the name of the game here. Just because we're good doesn't mean we can't improve. We can all improve. So one of the things that works really well is to have a quality program for your investigations where you have peer reviews or management reviews of the investigations when they're finished to critique. And it's not to find something wrong with the investigation. It's really a positive critiquing of the investigation and putting those other set of eyes on it. Is there anything that maybe could have been done differently? Did we miss anything? And if you do that for each other with a peer review or with a management review, your investigations over time are going to get better. As your kind of journey into TapRooT grows, your people are going to become more proficient. They're going to help each other more, and that's what's going to allow you to improve. Now, the other thing is, we've talked about investigations, but what about proactive use of TapRooT? Because I can tell you this, when you launch TapRooT and you start doing investigations, you will start to see your incidents decrease from those investigations because you'll be doing better investigations and you'll be doing better corrective actions. But I think it's even more important to be proactive. Go out and find those problems before you have an incident, and that way you're going to improve much, much quicker. It'll take you 2 years to get to your destination instead of 5 years. And so that needs to be built into your plan too. What do your audits look like? Because audits are really going to help you in your continuous improvement. So I think all those things are extremely important. So really I've hit the high level here. We know that you're not going to come onto Facebook and want to spend 30 or 40 minutes with us, so we try to keep it kind of short, just to give you enough information to get you excited about what you're doing back at work. And so we've hit the high level. But if you want more detail, guess what?
There's a book.
There's a book. We've got a whole book, and this is the TapRooT implementation book. And you know that our motto is changing the way that the world solves problems. Well, this book is entitled Changing the Way Your Company Solves Problems. So we've got it up on the screen here on our store. I urge you to go get the book, taproot.com/store, and you will find the book. It's the implementation book. We've got a lot of other great books now too, but this is the one we're talking about today. So I urge you to check that out. This book's only been out for a few months, so you can be one of the first people to get it. And it'll give you a little bit more detail about what we talked about today. So I urge you to do that.
Wonderful. This is great news and great information. If you need help with your implementation or during your implementation of TapRooT, you can contact us. And there's always someone here who can help you. Thank you for joining us today at TapRooT TV. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're up on all social platforms. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.